Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This week we'll talk about stretching and why it's really important to stretch regularly. Welcome back guys. So a lot of people have asked me about stretching and my opinion on this topic. Everyone that knows me and has ever worked out with me will probably testify that I'm a huge proponent of stretching. Not only because my years of bodybuilding have been mixed with martial arts, but also because I'm a firm believer that stretching can increase the longevity and drastically improve your quality of life. The benefits of stretching are numerous, but for our purposes, I'd like to mention a few specific ones. First, stretching prepares your muscles for exercising and decreases the likelihood of an injury. And that is extremely important because injuries can set you back for weeks and even months. The second benefit of stretching is that it increases the blood supply to the muscles and with that the nutrient supply to the ligaments. Finally, the one benefit that many people neglect, and that is the positive effect of stretching on your mind. Often stress can result in tightening in the muscles, which is a completely normal defensive mechanism in the wild. However, in our civilized society where most people have a sedentary lifestyle, this stiffness can affect us not only physically, but mentally as well. How stretching benefits us mentally is by releasing the tension in our muscles and improving the blood flow to our brain. When you breathe deep through the stretches, that also results in a higher oxygen level, and that slows down your heart rate and lowers your blood pressure. Finally, when the muscles are relaxed, your brain gets the signal that everything is okay. That is how stretching becomes a very effective form of stress management. Now, there are many different types of stretching techniques, but there are really only two that you should learn for now. The first type is dynamic stretching. Dynamic stretching are active movements that cause your muscles to stretch, but you don't really hold it in the end position for any amount of time. I generally recommend these types of stretches before a workout to get your body ready for the movement. The second type are static stretches, and they involve holding a stretch in the end position for a period of time. These stretches are excellent for after a workout or simply throughout the day. Because I don't want to make today's video too long, today I'll just cover the main static stretches that I perform on a daily basis. And I will have a whole separate video on dynamic stretches in the near future. As with everything else, there are do's and don'ts when stretching. First, it's best to stretch when warm, even after a short activity. Second, reduce bouncing. Bouncing can actually further tighten the muscles. Think of your body's reaction to stress like a seat belt. If you pull hard and fast, it will tense up. But if you move slowly and with firm effort, your muscles will not tense up. Bouncing may also cause slight tears in the muscles and the buildup of scar tissue. Third, stretches should be held down for about 15 seconds to a minute and repeated 3 or 4 times. Fourth, I recommend stretching at least 3 to 5 times a week for about 10 to 15 minutes. One final thing, you don't need to stretch every single muscle every single day, but a stretching routine does have to include the main mobility muscles, like the hamstrings, calves, quads, shoulders, neck, and lower back. Also, it will take some time to become more flexible because chances are that your muscles were tight for months, if not years. So be patient and consistent with your stretching. So let's get to the stretches. The order of the stretches does not really matter. I just tend to begin with hamstrings because I sit on a chair all day, so I get a lot of tightness in my hamstrings. Sitting is actually very bad for your hamstrings in general because it shortens them and can cause lower back issues. The two stretches that I do for the hamstrings are the simple hamstring stretch and the hurdler hamstring stretch. The only difference between them being that with the hurdler, you bend one leg at the knee and position the sole of that foot against the opposite inner thigh. Otherwise, the point here is to extend your arms and reach forward. In fact, you could use your arms to stretch your calf muscles as well, simply by pulling back on your toes. And if you can't reach it, you can use a resistance band or even a belt to pull on it. The first time you perform this stretch, you probably won't be able to go down very far, but keep at it, and in time you'll be able to go all the way down and touch your forehead on your knees. I generally hold in position for about 30 seconds, and I repeat the simple hamstring stretch 3 times and the hurdler stretch 4 times for each leg. Next, I stretch the quads, or the muscle opposite in function to the hamstrings. For the quads, I only use one stretching exercise, and that is the simple quad stretch. How you perform this stretch is by grabbing your foot and pulling it towards your butt. If you have a hard time balancing, you can grab onto something, or you could do this exercise lying down or kneeling down on the floor. The point is to hold in position for about 30 seconds and really feel that quad stretch. Next, I stretch the lower back with 2 exercises. The first is called the child's pose. This is a beginner stretching exercise that is meant to stretch your back, hip, thighs, and ankles. As you can see here, the point is to bring your belly to your thighs and rest it there. You could perform the child's pose with your arms extended forward with your palms towards the floor, or you could bring them to your side alongside your thighs with palms facing upward. I generally hold the child's pose for about 15 seconds and repeat it about 4 times. The second stretch for the lower back and spine in general is the seated spinal twist. The seated spinal twist will stretch your spine, hips, shoulders, and neck. This is definitely a more advanced stretch than the child's pose. The point here is to twist your upper body in the opposite direction of the hips, and for that purpose, you use your elbows to push off against the folded leg. You could do this stretch with your floor leg extended or bent. Either one will do the job. Unlike the child's pose, I tend to hold this position much longer, often as long as a minute, if not more. Next, I stretch the shoulder with the crossbody shoulder stretch, which helps extend the back of the shoulder. When doing the crossbody shoulder stretch, you have to use the forearm of the supporting arm to pull the extended arm closer to the body. I generally hold this stretch for about 15 seconds and repeat it 4 times on each side. The second stretch is the towel shoulder rotation stretch. This stretch is great for improving the way your shoulder or rotator cuff moves. The towel rotation stretch is a great way to improve your flexibility and the motion of your shoulder. It's called the towel shoulder rotation stretch, but you can use a belt, a strap, or even a resistance band. The point is to pull the arm that's on top down and hold it for 20 seconds, and then pull the lower arm up and hold it for 20 seconds. Then switch positions and repeat. Finally, you have the neck stretches. Neck stretches are great for easing tightness in the neck and shoulders. The first stretch that I do for the neck is forward and backward tilt. Slowly, I lower the head forward or bring it back as much as possible and hold in position for about 20 seconds. Then I do the same thing with the side tilts. The point of side tilt is to lower your head to one shoulder and then the other. You could alternate sides or just do 4 holds of 15 seconds each on one side and then 4 holds of 15 seconds each on the other side. Finally, I stretch the neck with side rotations. When performing side rotations, the point is to turn your chin towards one shoulder without tilting the head. Turn it as much as possible and hold for about 15 seconds. Then switch sides and repeat the process. That's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. To everyone that is not subscribed, please scroll down and hit the subscribe and the little bell notification so you can see more videos like this. Thank you to all the new subscribers. I really appreciate all of you guys. See you next week.